Yes, yes. You know what time it is. Once again on a lovely Sunday. It's your boy KILLcRey. Platform Collection at YouTube. That's where you find us. Man, this is Chris Sees the Internet. We got a really dope show for you, man. We're winding down the season, man. It's coming to a quick end. We got two amazing guests today. The homie Zenaloa, who I've never spoken to before. Amazing artist, though. And I'm looking forward to getting to know my dude. I'm a fan for sure. I feel like he's putting on for the culture. He's putting on for multiple cultures. But he's stopping in to talk to us about music and creativity and everything in the independent struggle, in the independent movement of hip hop. And then we got the homie Gnarly returning to the show. Once again, if you guys have been following the show, you know I'm a big fan of Gnarly. He's going to come in and talk about his dope event called Audio Dope. And they throw that out in Ontario, California. If you're in the area, make sure you follow Audio Dope. Follow Gnarly. He's going to be here talking about all the goodness. So if you're an underground artist, you're an independent artist, this is a dope show for you, man. These two gentlemen are going to be dropping a lot of knowledge. They're going to be telling you what makes their engines run in their machines. And hopefully that'll inspire you and help you with some insight in your own journey. That's what we do right here at Chris Sees the Internet. We try to go in depth with some of the hardest working artists in the game through the goggles of underground hip hop. But you don't have to be an underground hip hop artist to follow us or to get stuff out of this show. Trust me. And this next season, we're going to be talking to people outside of underground hip hop as well, but still through the goggles of underground hip hop, man. That's how I get down. If you cut me, I bleed underground hip hop. It's all I've ever done my entire life. And it's just what we do here at Platform Collection. And if this is your first time getting introduced to Platform Collection, please subscribe, turn on the alerts. We got a bunch of other shows. Shout out to Melly and 7 Octobers for completing their first season of The Heartful Truth. Man, they talk about the emotional side of this journey as an independent artist. Two ladies hosting a dope-ass podcast. I think you guys got to check it out. Truly, I'm super proud of what we've been doing here at Platform Collection. Really in-depth interviews and insights, and I think we're telling people's stories in a way that haven't been told before. That's the best way to sum it up. If you're a producer, you got to tune into the Beat Block TV, hosted by none other than the almighty Gene Flow, repping the Invisible Ponchos. He just completed his 1-year anniversary. Shout out to him, man. Man, he's really created a dope community over there of producers and music makers. So if you're a producer, send your music there. hiphopeddie@gmail.com if you want to send in beats. Send in at least 3, at least a minute long on those beats. Get yourself some play on there, man. They play everybody's beats if you send them in. And then make sure you jump in the chat room and root your beats on. You know what I mean? Meet the community, shake some hands, kiss some babies, all that good stuff. If you're into audio podcasts, the Parker Edison Project is all you really need in your life. Hosted by Parker Edison himself. Anywhere podcasts are found. Deep dives into culture and whatnot. They've had some heavyweights on there, and they continue to have some heavyweights on that show. So check them out and dive in. Also dive into the podcast about people. My homegirl Vita Kills, holding it down. Again, really tapping into that mental health. You know, we're big on that here at Platform Collection. We preach good mental health, taking care of yourself, taking care of your mind. If you watch any of the shows, you know we go heavy on that. And Vita Kills does it no less than anybody else. She's killing it over there, talking to creatives about their journey. Because this independent journey is it's a complicated one, man. Your boy gave you an update a while back about his health, and man, I'm still going through it. Just had a biopsy. That's not sexy, but it's true. By the way, if you ever need a colonoscopy, yeah, I said it, a colonoscopy, just do it, man. It's not bad. It was nothing that I thought it would be. I mean, it goes by so quick. Look it up. I don't need to explain what a colonoscopy is, hopefully. But if you're having stomach issues like I was having, due to just stress, man, you know, like I said, we talk about mental health. Starts here at home. Had to step up my game, do some more self-care. And so far, so good, though, man. Nothing too bad. Got some inflamed stomach stuff going on. But I'm combating it by losing tons of weight, getting in shape. Your boy hasn't not touched gluten in a while. Your boy's been eating mad greens, smoking way less. Actually, I haven't smoked weed in a while, which is crazy for me if you know me. I was a daily smoker. Doing some psilocybin, allegedly. Psilocybin microdosing, helping with the situation. Yo, you know what I found out is a really good one, man? And I'm just late on this, so if you're like, oh, man, we already knew that, C-Ray. Bone broth. If you're having stomach issues, man, that was a savior for me. Just drink some bone broth. It's so good for you. It encourages like your connective tissues. So basically encourages your body to repair itself. It's filled with collagen. I'm just trying to give you what I've learned. But man, you're about to see your boy on a whole new level of discipline. I told you a couple weeks back, your boy's going to be on here shirtless at some point. I'm almost there already. Losing hella weight. If you followed the show for a while, you know we did a weight loss challenge a while back with the homie Curtis King. Shout out to Kurt. And I never stopped losing weight. To this date, let's see. At the end of that challenge, I had lost 45 pounds, which got me down to 200. And man, you're not even going to believe it. You're not even going to believe it. I'm only 5'10", by the way. I'm not even like 6 foot. I'm 5'10". So I have no business weighing 240 pounds. But your boy got down to 200 pounds. And now your boy is a nice, lean, mean 185. 184 really, but I like to say 185. It's the weight class I've always wanted to fight at if I ever joined the UFC. But man, yeah, holding it together, trying to keep pushing. I'm recording this actually on the day this comes out. So you're about to see some interviews that we completed. Again, with Zenaloa, Gnarly. So if they mention anything about, doing shows, the dates might be a little off because we skipped Father's Day because none of us have dads. But yeah, Zenaloa is a dad. Talks a little bit about that. Gnarly is not a dad, but maybe someday, you know. But yeah, man, we wanted to give respect to the good dads, man. So we took the day off. You know, OG Hip Hop Eddie's a dad. Let him get the day off, and now we're back. Zenaloa just did Back to Basics, I believe, yesterday. So I think he talks a little bit about that he was about to do it, but he did it, killed it. I saw the footage, but like I said, oh shit, what's that? Got the helicopter going on. I knew I shouldn't have recorded with my window open. But if you ever needed proof I live in the hood, listen. I feel like they shouldn't be able to do that, you know? Flying all low. The popo. But yeah, Zenaloa just did back to basics. It looked like it was an amazing event. Like I said, your boy has been recovering, been nursing myself back to health. Got one more biopsy tomorrow. I keep saying biopsy because I'm not gonna lie to you. They're trying to rule out, make sure I don't have cancer. Ooh, it's a heavy word, huh? But cancer runs in my family, so they're just trying to rule that out. I'm trying to rule that out, and I know it's gonna be all good when they rule that out. I'm gonna be flying out this thing like a bullet. I haven't worked on music in about a month because I've been dealing with this health stuff, but I feel better. I feel way better. Did some fasting, like some hardcore fasting. If you ever need a reset, man, even do a liquid fast. But if you ever need your body just to reset, let the inflammation go, do a fast, man. They sound much harder than they are once you're into it. How many days have you gone sometimes and just not eaten? I've done that plenty of times. Gotten home after a long day of working, especially when we're on the road recording or, at a festival or something like that. I might eat something or drink something in the morning or grab a quick shake in the morning. And then many times I've gone to bed that night without eating and not even thought about it. When your mind's occupied, it's not a big deal. But I've been trying to sit in the fast, like experience the fast, feel like what's happening to my body in the fast. And it's all good, man. The day after the fast, man, your energy's through the roof. Your mind is working like on all cylinders. So it's all good, man. I'm going to be back. You're all officially on notice. You're about to see a whole new level of discipline, which means that I'm going to be putting out tons of music videos, tons of podcasts, tons of art. If not for that, then what for? If not for the simple fact that I can create, I should be creating, then why not? It's an eye-opening thing, man, when you have serious health issues. It's a very eye-opening thing. It reframes the world. And I've said it before, I asked for this. All my life I've asked, like, man, I really want to get in good shape. I want to eat really well. And the way most things have always come to me has been through some sort of pain because I'm hard-headed. But it's here now. I'm most likely going to have to change my diet for the better part of my life if I don't want to have these same issues. So be it. My life is dope. I want it to stay dope. So the last thing I'm going to have, is food kill me. Food is not killing me. Food will not kill your boy. Nah. It's just not that important to me. It's a lot to reframe your mind because at some point in my life, food just became that was like the reward. That's so toxic, man. I sound like a millennial. But it is. If you're like, yo, food is my reward, think about what you're programming your mind to, man. You're programming your mind to think food is the point. Food is not the point. Food is fuel. So you should be putting the best fuel in yourself. If you want to achieve what you want to achieve, I believe everybody has their path. But in order to go after your path and follow your path, stay on your path, you got to feel good. And if you're not putting the right fuel in your body, then, y'all know what I'm talking about. This is all simple. It's all simple. But one of the bigger things is managing your stress. So manage your stress, man. Have more fun, laugh more, be around people you love. I got to go to a wedding yesterday for a quick bit. I didn't go to the reception because, Not 100% yet, but I went to a ceremony for a really good friend of mine. Shout out to Fernando and Cynthia. Amazing couple, amazing people. But it reminded me, being there, seeing a lot of people from my past, a lot of people that have been in my life for a long time. You've got to make time for that, man. Wake up every day and ask yourself, yo, who are my friends? Do I have friends? Am I putting my time into cultivating those relationships, watering that plant of relationship, of friendship? Do I do that? Because a lot of us get so caught up in our own thing, man, that you forget the whole point of this is to be happy around the people you love. So if you're an independent artist and you're on that grind, check yourself every once in a while. Check yourself and go, am I doing so much that I've lost connection with people who care about me, who love me, who I love? Am I faltering in those areas? Because trust me, there is no point in finding success without those things. There's just no point. That is the point. The point is to find contentment with what you have around you and the love that you have around you and cultivate that love, which means that you got to take time. So make time. Make time for the people that you love. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of that, which means that it's going to take some discipline, right? Which means that when I'm doing work so that I can finish that work and then spend time with the people that I love, get recharged and go back to work. So there's not a lot of playtime in there, especially when you're mostly working. I guess there's some playtime when you're with your family, you should play, but when you're working, there's no playtime, man. I got no time for that anymore. If I'm working, I'm working. It's why I cut down on the smoking too, man. You guys know how that is. Come on. Most of you watching this are probably high right now. But be honest with yourself, man. Sometimes we use the things we like to block the things we need to do. Say it again. Sometimes we use the things we like to block the things we need to do. So let's not do that no more. There's plenty of time in the day if you schedule correctly. Again, discipline. If you're not a scheduler, change that shit, man. Time is of the essence. Every one of us is on the clock right now. Trust me, you are. It's very easy, especially here in California, that laid back mentality of like, oh man, just, let it flow, man. Let it. No. Stop doing that. Get it together. You could flow your life right to its end. You could get caught so much in the flow that it's just gone. That's all you do. You got to balance this stuff out. And real balance takes dedication. It takes discipline. Because you got to learn to say no, especially to yourself when you're trying to indulge or overindulge. I can say, when I'm speaking for myself, I can say this. I've indulged in fun, in serotonin hits, a lot in my life, enough in my life. I know what that's like. I already know what that's like. That's not what I need to experience anymore. I need to experience what discipline brings me. And so that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully you'll root me on. When I'm on here all ripped up and like, you know what I mean? My clothes are not fitting anymore. I had to go buy clothes for the wedding, the morning of the wedding, because I realized like I dropped like 2 pant sizes in the last couple months. But that's what it's going to take. I'm trying to have longevity. And I've already had some pretty good longevity in this game. But I'm trying to have way more. I'm trying to take this to its end. To my end. My inevitable end. We're all going to end at some point. I want to go strong all the way to that point. I encourage you to do the same. I would love to see you do the same. So let me know your journey. Drop me a DM. Send me a video. Let me know what it is that you yourself are, I said you. Let me know what you yourself are striving to be. Who is it that you are? You ever ask yourself that? Who you really are? What you really bring to this world? Is it all about you? Or is it about other people? Is it about a bigger picture? Let me know. And if you got questions about any of the stuff I'm talking about, hit me up. If you know your boy, it's the reason I have this show. I'm hyper curious, so anything that I need to learn about, I dive in. So I'm picking up new information daily. If you got new information for me, especially on health stuff, slide it my way, boys, ladies. I'm down. But share your stories with me. DM me at KILLcRey on Instagram. Send me a video. I'll play it back on the show so we can add other people to the conversation. Let's all help each other. That's what we're here to do, right? At least that's what I'm here to do. I'm telling you right now, I'm here. I'm here to help. If you need help, reach out. If I can help you, I will. Straight up. But yeah, send questions, send videos. We'll put them on the show and see if we and you, for asking those questions, can help other people. Trust me, you will. Share your story with us. We'll share the story with our audience, and you'll help people, and you'll feel good about that, and you'll have done your part. That's my invite to you. Hopefully you'll do it. Chris Sees the Internet. Every Sunday, at least for this Sunday and one more, and then we're off for a month. We're off for the better part of July. OG Hip Hop Eddie and myself will be diving headfirst into producing the Black Books and Rhyme Books podcast, hosted by none other than Beardo, the founder of Black Books and Rhyme Books. If you don't know what that is, it's a super dope hip hop event down here in Southern California and abroad, but born here in Southern California, out of the LA area. And I'm talking graffiti, DJing, MCing, production, stickers, b-boying. Covers all the elements and then some. And it's a super dope event, and we're going to be diving into that world, creating a podcast around that. And we've already started recording, but we really want to dedicate some time. I've had pretty much, aside from this show, I've had this month off just trying to recover my health. So in order to dive in and make sure we get that show up to where it needs to be to present to y'all, we're going to be taking a month off of Chris Sees the Internet. We'll be back probably the end of July, early August. But follow me at KILLcRey. Follow OG Hip Hop Eddie on Instagram. And we'll keep you updated. But we're already booking next season. I'll tell you that. We got a hell of a list because we know how to pick them. Just like today, we know how to pick them. First up, the homie Zenaloa. He's out of Orange County. I have never had a conversation with him until this interview, so I get to meet him with y'all. And I want y'all to give it up for my boy, Zenaloa. Follow him. Tell him Chris Sees the Internet sent you. And without further ado, none other than the homie Zenaloa. All right, brother, it's your first time being on the show. So I wanna really dig in. I wanna introduce you to our audience. I wanna get your story. I wanna go back to where it starts a little bit and then move forward from there. So right off the bat, man, tell people who you are and where you're from.
Cool. Yeah. First and foremost, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you guys putting me on, and again, sharing your audience with me means a lot. But my name is Zenaloa. I'm from Orange County, California, originally from Culiacan, Sinaloa. Started making music about 10 plus years ago. Yeah, just been making music, hip hop music, with a bunch of, I've done groups in the past, doing a lot of solo shit now. But yeah, coming out of Orange County, trying to play a role in the scene that we got out here, and then just try to put on for the city.
Man, and you're definitely doing that, brother. I'm a fan. I'm a personal fan. And then I've also I'm one of those people who constantly pays attention to flyers, and I'm sure you do too. Just being in the industry, you're always kind of looking at names that come up, and I've seen your name for so long now pop up on flyers and different shows. We have mutual friends. So I've been wanting to get you on. You were on the list of artists that we wanted to get on for this season. So again, thank you for doing that. Dude, so when you talk about coming from Mexico, what was that process like? How did you end up here?
Well, I mean, like for me, my family's all from Mexico. My parents were both born in Culiacan, Sinaloa, migrated here. I was born in San Bernardino.
All right.
Right.
Oh, nice.
But most of my summers and winter breaks for school, I would spend out in Culiacan. Right.
Oh.
Mom would send me off with grandma and grandpa, and I would get to go out there for months at a time, and it was just a really good time. I learned how to play baseball out there. I learned the culture a lot more.
Nice.
I threw my first punch out there, and you go out there and you come back with a lot, different perspective, number one, but number two, a lot of different experiences you wouldn't be, facing here when you're out there. And that just puts a lot of things in perspective, and, gives you a lot of experience in life early.
Can you trace like your creativity back somewhere, whether it be parents or early influences? Like, where does the music and creativity come from?
So yeah, my family is all music, man. And it's like, we don't have many musicians or creators, right? But, grandpa was into old rock and roll, anything from the Beatles, Doors, the Beach Boys, Chicago, the Grassroots, Keith, all that old shit. So he would listen to a lot of that. Funny thing is, he didn't speak English. But that was his shit, and that was what he gravitated towards. So it was just, I would hear it, anytime I'd see him. He would always be bumping the music, whether it was cooking, cleaning, whatever it may be. And then on the other side of it, my mom played a lot more of the lighter side, which is like Mecano, Maná, Ricardo Montaner, Café Tacuba, which is, heavy influence when it comes to Latino music in general, and in some cases, music from Spain, music from different parts of the world that also is in Spanish, right? It let me know that Spanish was such a worldwide language, and even though there's different types of Spanish, it was nice for me to listen to different perspectives and different cultures through the music. So that was my mom, and that was, again, cleaning on Sundays. That's the music that would wake me up, and I knew it was grind time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I got to experience that's a big spectrum. You know what I mean? That's a big spectrum from something like the Beatles, and all the way spread out to something like Laura Pausini, which is a great vocalist, a singer that I follow. But I wasn't into all of that, and then me, I was always just a music lover, and same thing. I listened to a lot of different genres, and I know everybody says that, you know what I mean, but
Right.
Being from Orange County, I grew up listening to a lot of hardcore, a lot of rock, a lot of underground hip hop. It was kind of very, very spread out, and I feel like that's kind of what molds the role that I play and that I feel, right, where it's there's a lot of us that come from parents who are fully Mexican or from another country that's Latino, and then we come here, and then we also establish our culture here, which comes from California and the West Coast, because this is very unique in comparison to other parts of the country where it's very different. This is more Chicano in comparison to other things. So I feel like I wanted to kind of bring that forward and be the voice of that, because I never felt like we had somebody for that. We're not really Kid Frost. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're not really, it's no extreme. We're right there in the middle.
Man, that's great. And it's interesting because now that you're kind of putting together for me like your influences, this is why I love doing this show, because having this conversation with you, I'm immediately hearing your music different now. You know what I mean? Like I can hear, like it makes more sense to me hearing that background, dude. And then you touched on that topic. I think it's really important to talk about this topic a little bit. And you are a person I wanted to talk to about this in hip hop, and especially underground hip hop, and maybe less so in the circles we all are kind of in, right? In Southern California, there is a big Latino representation of different types of hip hop, but worldwide and literally just beyond our borders, it isn't that prevalent, right? And it isn't something that mainstream hip hop pushes to the forefront. It's always been kind of this, and I'm sure you can relate to this. You know what I mean? I'm of Mexican descent as well, and I've always known of that, like that silent taboo of no one really points out that like Latino people have been in hip hop from the beginning, from the very essence of the very first day. But it does seem as if the system that we've created in hip hop does seem to deny the role somewhat, right? At least I've always felt that. I've always felt that it's not as prevalent, and just like you said, it's our lack of representation in the different types of hip hop is very obvious, right? Like especially if for people getting the big push, right? The big mainstream push, or even just, even on an underground level, but just on a larger scale. What are your thoughts on that, and how has it affected your career?
I mean, you hit it spot on, bro. And it's because, and I looked at it in different perspectives, and I'm going to be honest. My first go around with this hip hop shit, 2009, right? When I really started shaping songs, putting stuff out there, material. And, I went into hip hop, doing shows and getting to like rock really cool shows with like my favorite, rappers ever. Right. But I kind of quickly learned, that there was a ceiling, right, to what we could achieve as, Mexican rappers, right?
Right.
And here's the thing, man. Like, if you, in a normal conversation in my everyday life, it's not the first thing I bring up, right? I rap, and the first assumption quickly, right, when I do start talking about that, is if I'm Mexican and I rap, I either sound like Lil Rob, I sound like, the stereotype is there, right?
Right.
And I feel like, because that was the first wave of what we had, right? And we're known for a banger here, a one-hit wonder here. That's our song, right? Nobody has really come forth and put something, together very, very well, like a project. The first time I ever experienced this as a listener, and it's kind of what gave me life into being like, you know what? Even though I can't take it to the industry, I can take it to what, the whole point is, which is the masses, right? Around the world. And this was, Tumex, when I first heard Tumex. And I heard, and I had to be, I was young when I first heard him. But when I went, and I remember I picked up, his newer material, and I saw what he was doing with it, it kind of gave me, I kind of felt like that was another wave of it. That was like another stage of it, right? And like I said before, right, we all play a role in what this is going to be. And I really feel like you said, right, we have limitations. And until somebody creates our own lane, right, until somebody takes that and runs with it and says, hey, look, we're gonna break down that wall you made for us, and we're gonna take care of it, right? Like a lot of other artists, right, from different parts of the world have done, right? I don't feel like us as a culture have yet reached that, to where somebody just says, no, hey, I'm the forefront of this. We're all going, right?
I agree.
Which leads me to the next point where we don't have that kind of collectiveness that we would need to move like that in order to make a bigger impact. And I feel like we will, right? I see it in other genres of music right now. Like when you hear all like the trap corridos and the newer shit, those are collectives that went up together, right? And I feel like once we get that right, we're going to be able to dictate our own ceiling instead of leaving that and putting that in other people's hands.
I see that point. I definitely see that point, and I agree. I see it happening in like hip hop influenced music, right? Like especially in the Latino community. I have friends who make music in Mexico, and it's thriving. You know, it's thriving there in the culture, and it does seem as if it's like the part that isn't being assisted is this part that you and I share, right? It is being American of Mexican descent. It still seems as if that part, because I experienced that from the beginning as well. And 2Mex obviously was a very early influence for me as well. But I do remember having to like almost like choose it was almost like they wanted you to choose a lane. Like you just couldn't be this prolific artist that can make, you know, various types of music. Right. And it's interesting that you touched on the collective part. What do you, in your opinion, because I mean, at this point, dude, like, you know, you have a lot under your belt. You've done a lot of things. You've been in there. There isn't a debate whether or not Zenaloa is dope. You know, that's not. I know that, and I know you're a humble dude, but that's not. That's not the conversation around you. You know what I mean? Like we already know that. So, what are you seeing as an artist who is working as an independent artist as well? What are you seeing that we aren't putting together to get that collective? Is it literally just a lack of this? Is it a lack of these conversations? Is it a lack of us reaching out? Like what needs to happen more in your opinion?
We don't have the same history in hip hop, right? We haven't moved in that kind of cohesiveness for that long, right? So we are kind of the first generations kind of creating that.
Gotcha.
So I feel like as artists, we all have to venture into, hey, what's my role in this? And how can I contribute to what the bigger picture is, right? And in a lot of circles, this is what the issue is, right? Because obviously, especially in hip hop, there's a lot of egos. There's a lot of different motives or why we make music. So in order to bring that, you know, into a full circle, it takes a lot of that kind of work, right? And that's why I always focus on, like I said, right? Hey, what can I do, right? If I see a younger artist or, you know, independent artist or somebody's dropping an album, I try to give them whatever insight I have for them based on times that I failed. Because I feel like it's my role to give them that shortcut. Yeah. Hey, man, don't focus on your streams because it's going to take you 750,000 streams to get the same revenue you could make if you make 100 CDs, physical copies, and you sell them to all your friends and family. Yeah. Things like that, because sometimes when we come into the game, we focus on the wrong areas to gauge our success or how good we are, right? Yeah. And I don't feel like, I feel like things like that will make a difference to those kind of artists that are finally coming into the game. And I want to be able to provide those kinds of shortcuts because that's the only way that our culture can advance in hip hop, right? Because we need to solidify our lane. Yeah, we've been present at every point, right? But we've never had our own lane where somebody's like, yo, they do that, you know, just as well. And when it comes to not only rapping, but production, scratching, mixing, you know, engineering, like every aspect and everything that's needed for hip hop or to create a dope record, we have it, you know. It just has to be, again, we got to move together on that shit to make a bigger impact.
I agree, man. And it's definitely something I would love to see because I even see, you know, I've seen as of late, and I think this is just a trend in hip hop that I'm all for it and I'm there for it. And it definitely seems as if like the age thing in hip hop is slowly starting to dwindle away as hip hop grows up. It's more acceptable for people to have longer careers. And I think that's a necessity because without that, we can't continue a conversation, right? Like people will get ahead or people will get wise, right? Because that's that weird thing about hip hop is the mechanism of hip hop, the pop culture of hip hop seems to only want to hear MCs at their youngest and least experienced in life, right? And then after that, they don't really want to hear it, which is, I mean, as well as I do, that's fucking low key racist, really. Like, that is low key racist. They're putting the focus on us as a youth. I remember myself at 18, 19. I shouldn't be talking to a bunch of people and trying to influence people, right? Like you're going to grow. And I think as that happens, I'm hoping that conversation extends more. I'm in full agreement with you on the way you're seeing it. Let me ask you this. Do you as an independent artist, when you look out at like the atmosphere around you, are there still things that you feel that you deal with on a daily that can be fixed? You know what I mean? Like, are there things like whether it be promoters, whether it be shows, whether it be how things are promoted or what you have access to? What are some of the things that you see in the independent scene anyways that can be fixed?
Again, right, one of the things I said earlier is motive, right? We all have different motives, man. And some people are to advance the culture. Some of them are to create a buzz or whatever it is, right? So there's different motives behind it. And, it's very, very hard to get into a conversation like with promoters, right? Promoters are promoters because that's a business, right? They're looking for profit. So there's a lot of compromise there. Right, I'll book this guy. I don't know who he is. He might not be the dopest, but I'm gonna put him on for different motives, right? But again, as an independent artist, like what I've learned to do is just navigate through it, and I really, go put on and rock shows for the people that I feel are doing it for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the compromises are less. But can things be fixed? Absolutely, right? But again, it comes back to being on the same page. If you get with the right people, man, like the more people, the better, right? The more brains that you can connect and the more power you can put into the muscle. But it just depends on what the objective is. But can it be fixed? Absolutely, man. It just depends on if somebody, prioritizes their pocket over the advancement of what we're trying to do here, right? And that's been a constant topic in Orange County because we don't have a scene, right? We're just now getting and establishing our own scene, right? We had to go to LA. We had to go to IE, right? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I did my record release show in Pomona, right? I'm from San Juan Capistrano.
Yeah.
But, because of the opportunity that I've gotten through promoters who had the correct motives, I have a bigger crowd and following there. And yeah, a lot of my heads came out from Orange County who I knew would support me regardless to where that show was going to be. So that wasn't like the motive, right? Like, I don't want to do it in OC. It's just what's accessible to us. And then where I know people are going to be there every single time, right? You learn where those areas are and where you're appreciated and valued. And then those are the people you want to, work with and build with.
I agree. Let me ask you this, man. I want to get into a little bit about your own creative process and you as an artist. Are there, because you hit some heavy topics, there's a lot of, I feel like that is a good way to describe your music. You make heavy music, man. Like it's thought-provoking music. But I also know this, after being in this industry for as many years as we have, that rarely ever comes without its own personal demons and its own personal struggles, especially when it comes to say anxiety, depression, the independent move alone is a lonely one. What are some of the things that you've dealt with just mentally, even maybe spiritually when it comes to creating music what are some of the things that you do to keep yourself, grounded and at least keep going,
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, by the way. For me, music has always served its purpose, right? Based on where I was at in life, right? So when I go back to going to Hoagie Bar Michaels and going to hardcore shows and watching, Throwdown or Bleeding Through or Death by Stereo, I was an angrier kid, right? It served its purpose. When I got more into lighter music and I would listen to bands like Motion City Soundtrack and The Format, Limbeck, bands that I really enjoy. It was more because I was into, I was having fun through that point, and I just wanted a soundtrack to what, the fun shit we were doing, you know what I mean? But once I got a little bit older, because I didn't start really rapping, right, till I was 21, right? So I started very late compared to the usual MCs that could tell you, I've been writing for this long or freestyling for this long. So when I got into writing, I had to learn what I really wanted to, focus on at the time. Like, what am I going to create? Because I'm influenced by so many things, right? And it took me some time to get my sound, right? Where I could incorporate and find a way to incorporate all that into one. And that's when it started serving a different purpose, right? And it was very, it was very therapeutical for me.
Yeah.
And, in some songs, you could hear that I dump my emotions on that song.
Sure.
Right? In other songs, you can hear that I was so focused, and that's why I got so extreme on the cadences, the metaphors, the structures, the schemes that I made, right? So you can hear that through every song, right? So what I've learned through every song now, and it's worked in every aspect you just named, right? Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, right? Is to make a song, right, that is more than just a song, right? So a lot of the samples I pick are the songs we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Right? Mom, grandparents. I sample those songs because now immediately that song means more to me, right? I find what the topic is, what I want to write about based on the feeling that song gives me because I went to look for that song for a specific reason too. When I collaborate with artists or I work with producers, I like to be in this room, go get something to eat, smoke a blunt, have a beer, have a real experience to base the song off of, and then also a memory attached to the song. So every song I listen to, whether it's in the beginning or even the most recent songs, in my head, there's a whole story that plays out. There's a whole memory attached to every song.
Right.
So I learned that I could make music a very detailed, right? And I'm leaving the breadcrumbs, right? Because if you think about it, right, us as people, we all have an expiration date, right? But the music doesn't. So me having brothers, family, mom, kids, I wanted to leave a trail of breadcrumbs, right, where they can hear all those different things I dumped in. So whatever side of me they're trying to experience at the time, they'll be able to find a song for that, right? And that's a big deal because, even as a writer, if you're trying to write a book or if you're trying to write a song, it's very hard to capture certain emotions, right? So that was a big deal for me because I know that, when it's my time to move on from here, I leave a lot of music that you can play at any time.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear this perspective I had, you can find that. And if you want to hear something different, you can find that. But that's what music ended up being for me. It's a timeline.
Yeah.
Right. And if you listen to, the most recent things, and if you go back and if you start from the beginning, anybody could follow along with my timeline now.
I like that, man. It's you mentioned leaving this as a legacy for the people that you love and your family. what does your family, or have you had conversations with your family about what they think about what you do? And do you feel like they see it for what it is already, or do you think that it's going to take some time for them to understand it?
I mean, look, man, I'm blessed in that aspect, right? Because I have brothers that support me since day one, and you know, one of my brothers lives in Vegas, but if I have a show, he's out here, man.
Mm.
You know, my little brother's always been pushing my music no matter where he goes, and you know, one of my cousins who I consider my brother is same thing, man. Since day one, he's been there, you know, making sure I was good, right? So I'm fortunate, right, in that aspect because I have big support. It's funny, every time I write a Spanish verse, I send it to my mom
Hmm.
because I ain't trying to sound, you know, half-ass on it. So
Right,
she
right.
does, you know, the revision on it, and she's very supportive. You know, it's always fun when I go to Culiacan and we're walking down the centro and somebody knows who the hell I am, or you
Yeah.
know, she gets to we'll go watch me at a show, or she gets to watch me shoot a video, right? Like that's a cool thing, and then you know, my wife is super supportive, you know, picking up my slack when I'm out doing what I need to do to move, you know, to move forward. And then my kids, man, you know, I made songs with my oldest son, Aiden. My youngest son, Honor, is a huge supporter, and he knows the songs. It's funny. All my unreleased stuff, he's my first guy I go to. So we'll
That's
be in the
dope.
car and you know there's new stuff that I'm almost done with. You know, I got a new album coming and he knows most of it, so he feels really cool at the fact that he gets to hear it first. And then my daughter,
Nice.
she's 3, but I'm sorry, she just turned 4, but she's she listens to it and she knows it, right? She hums it and she knows the melodies. And again, I try to include my family as much you know, in this whole process, because there was a time where I kept it separate,
Mm.
right? Because I saw it as different extremes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Over here, I'm Zenaloa. Over here, I'm dad. But honestly, when this became more enjoyable, and honestly, it freed up a lot of my headspace to be able to create, you know, better shit and just you know overall better quality is when I integrated both. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When I
Yeah.
integrated both and made them part of it, and they come to the studio. If I'm recording, and I got to be like, you know, it's time for me for dad to record, you know, and they get to experience all this, and that's when it all again, right? The last question you asked, right? Where do we leave all this? And it's like it's once I intertwined those two things, it became even more fun, bro.
Let me ask you this, man, because I love asking artists this when they come on. Being that you're an independent artist, and I'm assuming for the most part you're managing your career, you know, yourself, and at least choosing your directions. If Zenaloa had a manager with unlimited budget, what do you need? Like, what is it that you feel like you need as an artist to, you know, for whatever, move to another plateau or branch out? What is it that you need?
I mean, to be honest, man, it'd be focus and time,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Just to be able to buy my time back. You know, I'm lucky enough to have a great support system with my whole crew. You know, we have the studio, we have the people who work very hard. You know, my engineer is my cousin,
mm.
so you know we don't go wrong there.
Yeah,
My graphic designer is my cousin. You know what I mean? So this
yeah,
is all in house, and it becomes very different in that way. And there's a reason for it, right? And again, like you know, for me, it's just as long as I keep it with people that are going to you know look out for me. You know, I feel like can't really go wrong. You know what I mean? But as far as if I had an unlimited budget, it would just put us in a. I would just choose to put us in a good environment. And what I
yeah,
mean by that is, again, right, experiences, right? So like me and my cousin have always talked about like, hey man, eventually we're gonna go out to the wilderness and rent a cabin, and we're gonna bring the fam out,
yeah,
and we're gonna record an album out there. You know, and there's different places I've been in the world where I've written a lot of music, right? And that I went for inspiration, and I want to go back there and record more music and stuff like that. But that's all I would do is buy my time back, and buy my people's time back so we can go and say, hey, look, if we had a whole month with no distractions and our only focus is music, let's see what we can come up with together.
That's beautifully put, man.
That's awesome.
Beautifully put. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. Dude, I want people to really follow what you're doing. I know you got a project coming up. What can we expect from you for the rest of the year? Well, what are your plans? What if we're following you? How can we support?
So I have, Why I Oughta is an album I finished at the end of last year. It's an album. It's been out. I have it on all streaming platforms. And it's an album that I'm really proud of because it was a project that I put the most effort into. But I also really took a different, direction with it, where I wanted to be as creative and as on point with the bars. But I also wanted to make it enjoyable to listen to just for the general public, right? Anybody who hasn't listened to a lot of underground, it fits. If you listen to it from, the first song to the last song, there's really a song for everybody. And it was my showcase of versatility, right? I have another album that I'm almost done with that I'm really excited for, because this, after dropping Why I Oughta, as an artist, once you drop something, you get your freedom back. You get that monkey off your back, that weight on your shoulders, or off your shoulders. You get that, and then some of us do a lot with that, and then some of us take a break and feel like, all right, cool, well, I just did that, right? So I ran with it, man, and the runoff of Why I Oughta became a whole new project, and it's 8 songs. But what I'm really proud about, this album is I did a lot of Spanish shit, but I got very creative, right? I stretched the whole culture thing even more, but I still kept it hip hop, right? Oh. And I sought out to make an album where I can debate. And the debate that I want to bring is, how many rappers anywhere in the world can rap in 2 languages equally as good, or at least not suck in one, right? So this whole project was both English and Spanish and Spanglish, right? But my whole thing is, what you'll see highlighted on this album is language, right? Vocabulary, and on both sides. And the best thing about this album, the most fun thing for me, is going to be the fact that I got to rhyme Spanish words with English words. Things that you would never, unless you really know both languages, how would those words find a place together? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that gave me a lot to work with. So I don't have a name for it yet, but I'm going to deliver it again in December, just like I dropped my last album, just to space them out. As far as other things you guys can support, I have a show on the 18th coming up. My buddy In the Soul, he has a first year anniversary. He does vinyl and cassette tape sales, so he's keeping that part of the culture alive. And we're doing a show in Anaheim on the 18th. And then I have Back to Basics, which is the 25th, the next Saturday, which I'm super stoked about, because I've done Back to Basics before. One of my favorite hip hop groups is Dilated Peoples. I got that right there.
Yeah.
I got that when I was 16, before I ever wrote a rap or anything like that. And I always like doing shows that I would go to. That's my thing. If I'm gonna do a show, it's like a show that I would be at anyways, And then the last thing I'm gonna leave you with, and on the same topic, is I have a single coming out in about a month and a half with Rocca from Dilated Peoples, and I'm really, really proud of this one because I did all Spanish and he did all English. And we mirrored each other's verses, which is something very new, which I know that, it's new for him too. And to bring that, through my music, is produced by LD, and Ariano is on the hook. So it's jam packed.
Wow.
But it's been a beat. It's been a beat that I've been saving for about 9 years. And the reason I saved it is because I always envisioned Rocca being on it. but I wanted to make sure that I was at the same caliber and nobody was doing me a favor when I brought it to him.
Right.
So I brought it to him about 5 months ago. Now that I felt like, hey, you know, we can make a song and it could be something, you know, that's good from start to finish, and not just a feature, you know.
That's really good.
He blessed it, and I'm really excited to drop that. But you know, you can follow me on Instagram. This is Zenaloa. Same thing with YouTube, Zenaloa. And the biggest thing for me is just share it with your people. You know what I mean? I don't need you guys to do too much, but my whole thing is just get me to your people, right? Eventually, if we're doing the right thing and the music is good, it'll find its way.
My brother, dude, thank you so much for coming on, bro. Please don't let this be the last time, dude. Please come back when you drop the record, or really you have anything to promote. And let me just throw this out there too, man, because I want you to, because being an independent artist, I know that, you know, and especially an artist like yourself, I know you make your music for a bigger purpose. You know, this is all you've spoken about in this interview is about a bigger purpose. But on the same note, please understand as just as an outsider looking in, everything you're doing, bro, it's working. It's working. People speak very highly of you. It's one of the reasons we really wanted to have you on the show. And then lastly, I'd like to say this, dude, you should have a podcast, bro. Yeah. You definitely should have a podcast. You should have a podcast. If you ever need to get a podcast put together, hit us up, because I would love to host a podcast for you.
You know what, bro? My wife tells me this all the time, bro.
Do it.
My wife tells me all the time, because I tell her shit about my life and stories and things like that, and then she sees what I do with the kids, and she's like, "Man, if you put that online, people will eat that shit up." But I really appreciate that. And definitely, you'd probably be one of the people that I hit up just because you guys do your thing, and I'm sure you have a lot to share about what you do that could help me be in a good position for that too.
Please do. Anytime the door is open, bro. And if you know me or get to know me, you know that I mean that. By all means, please hit us up, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, Zenaloa, thank you so much, brother. Please come back again soon.
Yeah, anytime you guys need me for anything at all, man, you guys reach out. I'm there.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Zenaloa. That was
man.
That was really dope. He is a guy that I've wanted to have on the show for a minute. That's really like the first time I actually got to meet him. I caught him at last year's The Happiness of Pursuit Festival. Okay. And then since then, I just dropped him a couple of DMs here and there, just showing him some love on his music, because I think his music is super dope. I think what he's doing is important.
Super important, man.
Yes. Yeah, I love how he talked about finding more diversity, especially in the Latino aspect of independent hip hop and underground hip hop. And I think he's at the forefront of that. He's helping usher that new voice in, that new character in, of being a Latino artist. Like he said, you know, and I can relate to that. At the beginnings of my career, I would just get compared to what was already out there, as opposed to like being seen as something new.
Right.
And I think with artists like Zenaloa, we're gonna have a better shot at doing that, with artists like Zenaloa leading that battle of basically just getting respect as an artist as a whole,
right,
and then being acknowledged as, you know, as whatever culture you're coming from. But shout out to him, shout out to his whole crew, his family. He's a dad, right? That was dope. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, and hopefully he's going to do a podcast. He should do a podcast for sure.
Yes,
I was dead serious about that. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it was one of those signs that, you know, we talk about, because he had mentioned like, oh yeah, my wife's been telling me that. So it almost like confirms that, hey, you should be doing this podcast.
We were the universe speaking. This universe was speaking through us to him.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was saying, yep. Your best friend, your wife, you know, your
And now these two random dorks that do a podcast
said, "Hey, you should do a podcast.
You should probably do a podcast."
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Right at that point.
Yes,
next up, we got the homie Cam Gnarly coming on.
I'm excited to hear what he has to say, man.
Yeah, we're going to talk to him about his event, Audio Dope. I wanted to bring him on to give that event some love. I see them building it. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a live monthly event that happens at the Firewater Grill. Oh, that's where they throw the Happiness of Pursuit Festival in Ontario. So just look up Firewater, Ontario, and you'll get all the information if you're in the area. And it's worth traveling to. If you're in the surrounding cities, we go up there to that event, and the event's there at Firewater, and we're from San Diego. We're like 2 hours away from there. So, but it's always been worth it. It's never not paid off as a networking event
at all. Yeah.
If you're an artist, there's full of artists there. There will definitely be people there that will be important for you to meet, especially if you're not doing a lot of shows, or you're looking to do shows, or you're looking to learn more about the scene in general.
Right, definitely. Great spot to be at.
Great spot to be at. They also throw they throw Ladies' Night there too. From the Happiness of Pursuit Festival. It's the same place. So if you've heard of any of those events, they're all being thrown at this place. So the Firewater is already kind of seeming like it's going to be one of those pillars in the coming years of like, a lot of stuff has happened there, a lot of events. And now Cam and his crew are throwing Audio Dope. Shout out to Brick to Your Face as well. And Noah James and Lisa J. But we're going to be talking to Cam Gnarly up next. He's out of the IE, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about the IE. I think if there's anybody to kind of describe what's going on out there, he's kind of in a good place to do that. He's a curator, he's a musician, and he's someone who's always given back to his community, and it seems like since we first met him very early on, I remember when he came on Crappy Awesome very early on. Do you remember that? We interviewed him in his kitchen. We were at his kitchen on, I think we were still doing audio, of course.
That was awesome, man.
And we interviewed him there. We met him there. Met his lady, and it's been dope, man. It's been really dope watching him and his career blossom. It couldn't be happening to a better dude. So Cam Gnarly is up next, and make sure you guys subscribe, like, and share, and do that so that these artists can get some love. Share these interviews with people, especially if you know artists who are starting out. This is great for them. I would think this is honestly, we're trying to make a show that Eddie and I wish we had when we were first starting out.
Right. Yeah.
If there was a show I could go on and then get a bunch of answers about stuff, about how to be an independent artist, about how to throw shows, about the right mindset to have, the things to do that may a lot of the artists have come on here and told us about things that the mistakes they've made and how to correct them. That's something I really, really wish I had coming up. We kind of just had to figure it out on our own, but we're trying to make sure that nobody ever really has to do that again.
Now we just share it. We have
just give away.
We have
the game is not to be sold.
No,
it's to be told.
Everybody has an equal opportunity to just hear it all and then test it for themselves.
And we're not into hoarding the information.
For what?
Yeah, for what? It does nothing for anybody. It helps nobody. So we're gonna get Cam Gnarly to give you guys a bunch of information, and
I'm excited, man.
And trust me, he's got a lot to give. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my talk and Eddie's talk with Cam Gnarly. Cam Gnarly's back in the house.
What up,
dude? One of my favorite artists for sure. Dude, I've been talking about you. I've been talking about you a lot lately, bro. Interestingly enough, I'm trying to manifest some stuff with you in mind. But thanks for coming on the show, bro. I wanted to bring you on because I wanted you to tell us a little bit about Audio Dope. I know that's going on.
Okay.
You're a full on curator now, curating shows and helping throw that. For people who don't know, that happens in Ontario at the Firewater. Same place, same home of the Happiness of Pursuit Festival. And you're doing it. How often is it? How often does Audio Dope go on?
It's a monthly. So it's about the end of every single month. We're booked through August, September right now.
Right on.
Nice.
So what was the thinking about throwing something like that? Like why did you do that? Because you're a dude who has a lot on his plate, man. So like, why did you decide to add
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I just feel like it's important to just, have dope stuff going on. Like it inspires me. I kind of came up that way, like going to the vibe and stuff like that. Like I came up enjoying seeing like a nucleus of a section start to cultivate, and it gets artists excited, man. It gets people excited to have a place to take their music where they feel safe and comfortable, and that ain't nobody gonna judge you off nothing other than just your talent and your ability. And I feel like you don't really get that in a lot of showcases or shows or whatever. And I wouldn't
True.
even call it like a showcase like that. It's just like a monthly event, and it's in my intention and the team's intention to just like take it even beyond just where it is located right now. So that's the hope of it. Like the intention is just to grow no matter what we do.
When you guys were first putting it together, what were you envisioning? Like, what did you envision as far as like the feel of it? Did you have like an idea already of like what you wanted it to feel like when people attend and people perform?
I feel like the intention of it was to just create, like I said, like a space create a show that feels organic and feels real, that is tapped into the pulse of like what we're seeing and who's working in the community. And really and also just taking that energy that we see on social media and having a place where people can really just come and be present. You know what I mean? I feel like it helps me adapt and connect more with people on the internet when I can see them and talk to them and kind of judge off that handshake if how we can connect. And I feel like we lose a little bit of that if all of our interactions are via DM or something like that. Kind of like when you making a song with somebody and then like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna email you you do your verse, that kind of thing. It's like you kind of lose a little bit of the magic of the connectivity in the community when you're not able to like share an actual room with somebody, see how they are as a performer, see how see or just listen to the music straight from the horse's mouth. No distractions, no nothing.
Has there been any surprises yet? Like as far as artists or performances maybe you weren't expecting to be performed in a certain way? Like what have been like some of the highlights?
I definitely say our first one was really dope. We had Jansport J, Grammy nominated.
Yeah.
And his approach, I feel like he made it a poignant point to say that the IE has always shown him love. So I feel like what's dope about it is being able to really water the connections that are, the friendships and the admiration for other artists, and create, have a spot where they can really, where we can show them that and give them their flowers, like I said, outside of just the social media space. We've only had a few so far, but my biggest surprise, I guess, is just the magnetism to the event itself, like the way that I've seen people come together for it, the way that I hear people talking about it. And it's not just me who's a curator, but I feel like it's just really dope as a testament to like what it is that we're capable of as a group or as a community, So I feel like some of the surprises, I've seen some people, more than anything, I also see like it building bridges too, like similar to like what the vibe and stuff like that was when you'd have a slew of artists coming from different areas to put on. So, I feel like we've definitely had a lot of people from the IE, of course, because it's in Ontario, but we've had like really prominent directors in the Los Angeles music scene and industry as a whole come down to support another artist. And, I've seen, like I said, like people really make a trip to pull up. So, and it's really early in it too. So it's really exciting.
Dude, you mentioned the vibe. And for people who don't know, there's an event called Common Ground that used to be thrown at the Vibe. Shout out to Brick to Your Face, Noah James, Elisa J. Can you talk a little bit about, because dude, you're one of many artists that have come on this show and credited the vibe and the common ground as like inspiration. What did the vibe mean to you? Like what explain it for people who may not have been able to experience it.
Yeah. The vibe is like college for me, man. Like it was, I look at that like an alumni of a collegiate space where everybody was really trying to work their stuff out as they were going out into the world and growing in their music. Similar to, older heads may know about like the Good Life and stuff like that. It was going on in LA, the Project Blow type situation. Like, I feel like it's very reminiscent of that. And I feel like in most hip hop history, there's always, like I said, like a nucleus of space where people can say like, this is where it was at, or this is where, some of the best artists came through or grew through. And I feel like the vibe is definitely just one of those places. I was a part of it at a time in my earlier parts of my career, and I feel like I learned a lot there, just as a stage performer as well. And then also just learning from observation from back then, seeing how to create those kind of shows, and the level of care and attention that goes into it. It feels good to be on that side of things. I feel like I always do that. And I was having a convo with a friend the other day just about like the Inland Empire music scene and making sure that we go out of our way, really. Like sometimes even the artist has to go out of their way to create a platform in a media space so that we can have something that really sheds light on what the area is doing. So it's like with Audio Dope and what I do with like Rat Habits, and I even just recently I curated some stages for the LA County Fair, and just getting into that more, like, because I have these connections and I'm confident in my understanding about how to throw a show and curate an event. I've been doing this when I'm not doing it for myself for years. So I feel like it's even better and more fulfilling to be like, like I'm envisioning stuff that will look cool for other people, and I like that. Like, I feel like it's just like paying it forward. And it's not just me, rat habits, Rick to your face.
Is the service part of like your journey always, is that something that's always been there? Like, have you always wanted to also be like at the service of the community and the culture and artists? Like, is that like being a curator and being someone who's giving people, I mean, quite frankly, opportunity as well? It's not like you're just doing something just because you like it. You're well aware that people are using some of these events as springboards into their own careers, into their own followings. Is that always been a part of what you wanted to do?
I kind of feel like it's a second nature kind of thing. I was raised like this a little bit. Like, I come from a big family. I come from hand-me-downs. I come from sharing. I come from like not being by myself. I'm the oldest of my brothers as well, and I'm like 8 in a set of like 15 cousins, who are like siblings. So for me, it's like being communal was something I was raised in long before I really had a second thought about it. And for me, I also am I benefit so much from my relationships with other people and the ways that they've looked out for me throughout my career, throughout my life, so that me being aware of that has only made me just be more mindful of how, or intentional of how I can give that energy back or pay it forward, so I can feel. I mean, it just helps me know that I feel like I'm trying to give back everything that's given to me.
Yeah, I can definitely see it in you, man, and it seems like. And if you can like kind of touch on this a little bit, because I want people to really understand. Like, we've had quite a few IE artists on here. And I have a special place in my heart for the IE. It's always shown us love, and I have a lot of good friends from there. But I also feel like it's a very special place in that it seems as if, at least with a group of y'all, that there seems to be like an importance on tradition. Not necessarily tradition in being stagnant. In fact, like the development of tradition throughout the years. Can you talk a little bit about how you see the IE, and like, if you weren't from there, like how you would explain it?
Man, I never thought about it like that. I see the IE as like this big melting pot. It's like this. It's the biggest county in the United States, and I feel like with that being said, with that type of nameplate, you're only going to get such a mixture. And I feel like if I was to explain it to somebody else, and I guess I have a couple times, like if I'm in LA and I'm explaining to somebody like, what's the IE? Like it's like it's another missing piece of what the West Coast is. I feel like the Inland Empire is so deeply tied to even like, like what's the most West Coast shit, Ruthless Records, you know what I'm saying? Like NWA and all of that. Like one of their first artists is JJ Fad from Rialto, they just got a street in Rialto named after them. And I also like learning through the years about how like all their earlier vinyl and all their pressing and all that stuff was coming out of the IE. Even Ice Cube saying Yelling Compton, but you move to Riverside. Like all these things are facts. Like this is stuff that is very common in the bridge between Inland Empire and Los Angeles. So for me, it's just a melting pot. And from what I see, my take on a lot of the artists from our section is a lot of the music is really, really honest. It's very eclectic. It's really warm and feels real pure. Like, I see a lot of us capable of doing everything that I that I could hear from like a quote unquote like Los Angeles artist, but like, we all representatives of the West Coast and California. So it don't, to me, and I feel like as I grow as an artist and I see myself building more bridges and, kind of not only being recognized as just an Inland Empire artist, but like a West Coast artist, like it's all encompassing. So I feel like IE is that missing piece that doesn't necessarily get is just due in the past few years, as its connectivity to what the greater Los Angeles area and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like we are seeing shifts, and I think Audio Dope is helping with that. I think the music that the artists are putting out, myself included, my homies included, is changing that. And then, like I said, like just people who are just really from here and making waves and creating strides, like, with everything that you see Hit Boys, it has been on in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Like that's a great way to charge up the community. Even with the, honorable mention, shout out to the homie City James, who pulled up to one of our most recent Audio Dopes. Him and his collective Basewoods, or Basewood is like based in Los Angeles, but he's never shied away from representing the Inland Empire. And and his eye is behind some of the like the whole run of the Blast videos and stuff like that. Like, people read the credits and stuff. You that's what I mean. Like, if you understand the credits and the people who are behind the scenes, like I'm a person who likes to exist behind the scenes a lot too, because that's where I learn the most. And I feel like that's where a lot of our Inland Empire people are standing on that and putting in that work. So Inland Empire is probably everything behind the scenes that you don't know about.
Yeah, and I would say, like, as an observer, right, from obviously we're from San Diego, and one of the things that I observed about the IE was one that how eclectic it was, but and not to say that there aren't other scenes that are that eclectic, but the thing that I noticed about the IE is there was almost like an encouragement to be eclectic. There was almost an encouragement to be original, and I can't really say that I know a lot of IE artists that are having success that have a similar sound. It is very different. You can see influences maybe visually, and that just might be, that's just the way you guys get down. But other than that, like the sounds are very different. People take risks very easily, it seems like, in the IE. And that was something that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that when I first kind of discovered that scene for myself. Do you feel like the originality and being eclectic has become part of like the signature of the IE? Like, because I mean, bro, we can go to like almost any show out there, and from the first person on the bill to the last, you're going to get something different with every set. Do you feel the same?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, we're a melting pot, so we're talented at a lot of different things, and we're tapped into a lot of different sources because we're so big. So I've seen like my favorite hip hop artists end up being really prominent and well done in like funk music, just because we're not afraid to cross those lines. And I feel like also that's the benefit of being in an area that is like I said, undermarketed and, you know, like not being as franchised as other areas, that you don't have to be afraid to do what you want to do, because it's like, who else is doing it? Who's going to tell you not to? Who's going to judge you and tell you that this ain't cool or da-da-da? Like, we're not in that. Like, IE is a lot of things, but we're not, you know, even some areas can be self-hating, but we're definitely not on some shit like, oh, you can't do that. Like, that's not really what's going on out here. Like, out here, everybody can really find a world and do whatever it is that they want to do. I feel like you may hear that in other areas, but for us, it's just very, like you said, encouraged to be eclectic or just to be different, because that's how you got to stand out. Like, especially if you representing the IE, like you're going to be, depending on what your sonic choice is, like how you want to do it, your music wise, like you're going to be judged once you get out of this area. So it's like, you might as well swing for the fences.
Yeah, dude, that's a really good point, man. I didn't had you're putting it in perspective for me in a really good way. Yeah, because that is the thing that you know, working with PlatformCollection, we've had, you know, like, and I'm very thankful for having the opportunity to like dip in and out of all these scenes down here, especially on the West Coast, because we have relationships in each of the scenes, and I can tell you, like, still to this day, the IE is one of my favorites because of that fact, because of I'm always pleasantly surprised. I can honestly say that. I'm always pleasantly surprised when I'm at an event in the IE, because I'll discover something. Dude, like, I don't think I've ever shared this with you. Do you know that the first artist I ever saw from the IE, or the thing that got my attention, where I was just like, what's going on here? And maybe this can put a perspective for you of like my entrance to it, was I saw the song Wally World by Fame Kills. And I was like, growing up in San Diego, right? First of all, growing up in San Diego, one, I'd never seen a Mexican like Fame Kills before. I was just like, what is this? Like, he had like this obvious, like, there was a punk influence. He was turned up. He was like, I mean, just his look, everything. I was just like, yo, what is this? And then that led me, you know, down the rabbit hole to like the Noah James, Curtis King, and then, you know, eventually to the newer generations and y'all, and watching it. And like I said, having gone in through those goggles, right? First seen Fame Kills to what I discovered the IE was, I realized, like, for me, it was like, it was everything that I love about music. You know what I mean? Like, it was everything that I love about music because it is so eclectic, because I don't truly believe that anybody who really loves music just loves one kind of music. I've never met anybody like that. Like, all the people that I know that really love music, they love all the aspects of it. And in the IE, like I said, on one bill, you could get like punk influence, rock influence, you know, trap, hip hop, Spanish. I've heard Spanish music, like everything there, and they're all on the same bill, and it doesn't feel. And I'm not saying by any means like it's void of judgment or there's not normal artist ego stuff that can happen, but for the most part, that isn't up front. And a lot of other scenes I've been in, that's usually what you feel up front. It feels
very up front, yeah.
Right, yeah.
As soon as you get there.
Yep. Yeah. And there's like a sound that has already been determined, like, yo, if you don't sound like this, you're not really from like this area or whatever. And I always found that like mad corny, because I was just like, because that's not why, I don't feel like that's why any of us get into this, really. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting into this to find some sort of freedom. And that was the opposite of it. And I didn't find that in the IE. I can tell you, like, the first time I met Noah James was, little known fact, me and Hip Hop Eddie were filming the Cypher Effect. We used to shoot the Cypher Effect for JDS. And we met Noah James, and myself and Eddie pushed really, really hard, and Arash at the time, we pushed really, really hard to get the IE included in the Cypher Effect. Cause I was just like, we're not really representing this area or this scene that we're talking about, if they're missing, you know what I mean? Like, and I was there for that very first IE Cypher Effect, and that's kind of how we got, you know, we went down this rabbit hole and met everybody. But I don't think I ever told you that, but that's kind of how that's our story to our connection with y'all.
But I remember that though too. I remember that the wave of seeing a lot of IE artists through Cypher Effect, and you know, I always say this. I've said this in like some of my newer music too. Like a strive for me is a strive for them, and I see that, you know, because I know that what it comes with, like representing the Inland Empire, like when you make particular moves, I know there's probably like 5-6 people that are going to try to walk through that door right after me, you know? So I appreciate you guys doing that, because when people do that kind of thing and they see that an IE artist is getting onto these platforms and they're not forgetting to mention he's from the IE and not forgetting to, you know, to like represent him in a particular way, and he's not having to pretend to be from here or there, they can be like, oh, I could do that. Like that means I could go on this platform and they know about the Inland Empire. I don't have to, you know, name drop anything else to get, you know, whatever type of level of respect or anything like that. Like, so I feel like that's important for me. It's important, you know, with you guys doing that at that time, because I remember seeing that. And it also opens the doors to a lot of other artists who just don't know where these spaces are. Like, and I feel like I was just thinking about that earlier driving home today about like how we need more of that. We need more representation in music media, and not necessarily having to rely on going outside of our area, but you know, for some people to be inspired to create that media within their area, because we got people here. We just really got to incentivize what we're doing with us.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in.
So I feel like, and, you know, Audio Dope is an example of that for sure.
Yes, and I, like I said, I'm a big believer in a scene or a community telling its own story and having the power to tell its own story, because I think it's, you know, we lose things when it's just an outsider perspective. You know, it was one of the reasons, you know, we continued to do, when we were thinking about doing this show after Crappy Awesome, we were, you know, teetering on whether or not we wanted to keep doing interviews. And one of the reasons was we stayed on it was because we like the fact that you guys can come on here and tell your stories from your perspective, as opposed to like it being reported on. Because I always felt like when vlogs or other entities would just report on something, they were reporting it from their perspective. And having you guys come on here and talk about it, you know, you get it from the horse's mouth, man. So I appreciate you always sharing your time with us, dude. Talk to me a little bit about what do you got going on right now? Like, what's going on with you musically? Are you in the lab? Like, what's happening?
I'm in the lab. I'm in the mixing, mastering stages right now. I'm in the getting the artwork and the art direction for these next few singles, set to be working on and to be released like in the coming months. I really got, I don't know, I think I sent you a private SoundCloud link or something. I don't remember if I did. It was one of the night Audio Dope. I was low-key giving it out.
Oh,
but
no, you better do that. You better send that.
Yeah, but I think I talked, maybe I spoke to you about it. But I got a lot of new music, new collaborations, just been working with a lot of different people. I got some stuff, unreleased stuff with Cassius Green, unreleased stuff with like Noah James, unreleased, you know, a lot of new solo work.
Nice.
Man. Just working towards an album. I have a title in mind and a concept in mind, but more than anything, just get into a space to just release, man. Like I like you said, I wear a lot of different hats and I do a lot of different stuff. And I've, you know, when I'm not organizing with my friends and, you know, being one big teammate, I'm also, you know, trying to make time for myself and honor myself to make sure that, you know, my music is where I want it to be before I release it again. Luckily, not even luckily, but, you know, I'm grateful to the people who support my music and the ones who've been still like keeping me in the rotation with like Love Really Is and 333 and Darvana. Like there's definitely been no shortage of like people tapping in with me and telling me what that music means to them. So I'm excited for them to hear the new stuff. It's different. Like it's more than anything. Like I feel like a lot of the newer music will definitely fall more into that space of what you're talking about. Is like I'm not really afraid to step out of a soundscape that people are comfortable with hearing me in, or step out of a even like a tonality in the language or the point of view that people are used to hearing from me. So yeah, like I'm looking forward to people hearing the new stuff. I got I got 3 new singles that are literally in the process of getting mixed and mastered like right now. Like I'm probably gonna go to the studio right after this and mix these 3 records down, and then from there is gonna working towards a new project. I got this project called North and Gnarly that I'm working on, and just another untitled project, and just working with like new producers, new engineers. Like I'm just trying to be more expansive and continue to build relationships and build bridges.
That's what's up, man. Well, you know what? Here's an amazing opportunity for me to pitch you my idea. I have this idea, dude, and I thought of you first. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, I want to do something, and I'm just barely like formulating this, so I'm doing this in real time with you right now. I want to do I want to get like 4 artists together, and I want to shoot a mini documentary of a series of like 4 secret shows. Like there'll be secret shows in front of small audiences with the emphasis of filming more than simply just having a concert. It would be to film a documentary and everybody's experience through this. I want to shoot a trailer for it. Because I think that I'd like to see us all kind of take that next step into like documenting our journeys on an even bigger format. And I know, and I'm throwing this out there because I know it's not exactly the easiest thing to pull off. I'm not afraid of people stealing it. Because to do this right, we'd have to, really plan it out. But I would love to have you involved in something like that. I have these 2 other artists in mind too, because I want it to be very eclectic. I want the personalities to all kind of gel. But yeah, man, I have an idea. Just so you know, you might get like some random DMs from me. Know, bro. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. We talked this last time, and we talked about how come we've never actually done something, and I think this would be a really cool thing to do. So I'm just throwing it out there. I can use your energy on it. In case you get a random DM at 5 a.m. or something with ideas, you know where it's coming from.
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely with that. And I again, like I'm thankful for the opportunity to continue to just push the story and and just continue to grow. You guys have always shown love for me and made a space for me to just talk about my music and about my journey. And I'm super grateful for every single time anybody ever mentions what they heard of me from Platform Collective. So I appreciate y'all for real.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. Dude, well, thank you so much for coming through and sharing time, man. I'll let you get to the studio. Please follow everything Cam Gnarly. You can follow him on Instagram. Is there anything they can do right now to support you? What can they do right now to support you?
Right now, you can definitely support by just buying some merch off the website, camgnarly.com, or, pull up to an event and, support us in person. The next Audio Dope is June 24th. We have Cassius Green, Spencer Bonds, Lexi the Hooligan, and some other great artists. We got open mic for the artists who want to come through and, get to know the people who are a part of the show and possibly get on the next lineup for the next show. Nice. Then after that, our next one is coming up. It's the flyer and the info's out for it. It's July 22nd. We got Grammy nominated Nabian, also from the Inland Empire, San Bernardino. We got Waju, and we have Phantom Threat, as well as A Sincere. And then we got, for August, we got a great showcase coming up in August too. So y'all just stay tuned, and I appreciate people just supporting. If you're buying something off the website, listening to the music, or showing up in person, like all of it helps, an artist or me as an artist to continue doing what we're doing. So that's how you can help.
That's what's up, man. Thank you so much, bro. And we'll talk soon, and look for those 5 a.m. texts coming through for sure.
Yeah, definitely. New Cam Gnarly on the way. To give a tidbit and a plug, if people want to hear some unreleased music, there's an episode out on my homie Jay Kasai's podcast, For the Record. I played 2 or 3 unreleased songs in that episode. So if you want to hear something unreleased before it comes out in the next month or so, tap in with that episode. And new Gnarly on the way.
Word up. And send me those links, man. Send me those links.
I will. I got you. Yeah, definitely will. It's like 10. I like 10 joints. I ain't decided if I want to drop it all as a project or if I want to just trickle through for a while and just drop a single video.
Yeah,
I like that. I've done that
Me too.
before, and it's worked. So like I think I'm gonna do that this time. My last project, Love Really Is, I kind of just dropped it, no single, no nothing. I dropped the whole thing, and it was dope. But I feel like just with how I work and all the work that I be doing, like I don't like to play catch up with myself. So it's like I like to just do one thing at a time. So and to give every song its own level of attention. So new music on the way, new songs on the way, new visuals on the way, and I got a video on Tuck from Love Really Is on the way too. So I got work coming. I'm working.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, Cam Gnarly. We'll talk to you guys soon, man.
Peace, man. Y'all be
All
good.
right, brother.
That's Cam Gnarly, y'all. What can we say? What we
That was
always
dope, man.
say.
We know how to pick them.
We know how to pick them, right? Cam Gnarly, just a good dude, man. The fact that he's talented is the bonus, right? The fact that he makes really, really good music. He's very eclectic, by the way. If you're new to Cam Gnarly, tap in, man. Especially if you love feel good music. I mean, he's they call him the Posse King for a reason.
He's there for you.
Yeah. The Posse Prince, the Posse King, the Posse President, the Posse Mayor. That's him, Cam Gnarly, man.
Posse all around.
All around, dude. What'd you think, man? What'd you think about the interviews? We had Zenaloa, we had Cam Gnarly.
I mean, great, dude. Great stories. Great way with Zenaloa. I mean, the way he was expressing himself, the way he talked about things, it was just, he knows his shit, man. And he has a structure with him where he's, self-identified, in a big way of the artist,
Yeah.
Until you are the true artist, then you can't continue to follow. And the path it's rough if you don't say like I am, even though it's
I feel like both these guys are like that, right?
Yes.
Like Cam and Zenaloa are both guys who like seem very content in being an artist.
Right. Yes.
They've at least accepted that part. Zenaloa, he's like he said, he runs a tight unit with his family. His family's all in. They're all like, they all get it. He's got a brother who travels to see him perform. And Cam has always had we know the people around him. Some of those people have been on the show, and what we said about the IE is absolutely true, man.
Right.
If you are starting a scene, or you're like maybe in a city where you don't have a scene, go to the IE, check it out, because it'll give you some ideas. Like there's definitely, he touched on that. Like they encourage you to go for yours.
Yes,
because they kind of get how like that feeds everybody. You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily seen in a lot of scenes. Eddie and I have been in a lot of scenes.
Many of those.
And it's not always like that. I've always found it weird when the people from your scene are not necessarily rooting for you, but you're on the bill with them. So, which doesn't make sense, right?
Because the toughest thing, to see.
Don't you want the whole bill to be good? You know what I mean? Like, like the over competitiveness, it just gets old, man.
Yeah, everybody should be hyping up everybody,
right? Especially if you're being original,
right?
That's the thing I think the IE has down, right? It's not that they're just super positive, because I know some people are like, oh, the world's not always positive or whatever. Right. Yeah, I get it, but that's not what they're doing. They're not just being positive for positive sake. They're being positive because it's logical. Because everyone's trying to come up. Everybody is trying to feed each other, and they also realize like there is no competition if nobody sounds the same, right?
And that is the hardest thing, I think, for them to understand.
Like other scenes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the it wouldn't make sense if they sounded the same.
Right.
So sounding different is that's the best part of it. And when they think it's like a competition or something, it's like, no, you have to love your art.
Right.
enough to just
Your own voice.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter how anybody else sounds.
Right. Yeah. And I hope we see more of that, man. We definitely haven't seen the last of Zenaloa and Gnarly.
No. Oh, not at all.
They'll definitely be on again. They're both releasing a ton of music. We might have a Zenaloa podcast.
Bro,
if we
I was
play our
about to
cards
say,
right.
yeah, that's gonna say.
You know what I mean?
Might be something coming soon. I don't know.
Yeah, I've decided from now on, because we don't do this enough, bro. Is like we don't manifest the things that we'd like to see more.
Right.
So I'm just telling the artist from now on, like, hey, I'm already thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a thing that I would love to do. I'm thinking about you. It's in the planning. So don't be surprised if that happens, man.
And that happened with Cam, as you told him about, doing this show.
Yeah.
You just got to let him know.
You got to let them know. Because then we're all thinking about it. And then that energy, we get that synergy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
that spark goes in there.
Yeah, guys. So this is, we are going to be doing more episodes like this in the recorded fashion. I can tell you my first experience with this so far. I definitely like it better than I like it better than it dropping out on you guys on the live.
Right.
You know what I mean? That got old. We would get dinged by YouTube if we were just talking about something. Like, if we were just talking about something, like if we were talking about the vid, somebody catching the vid or something, even if we joked about it, they would throw us off, We'd be playing music from the artist that's literally on the show and we would still get kicked off. So, and we don't want that to happen anymore. But thank you guys for continuing to support. I see you guys. We love the comments. We love all that stuff. And make sure you support the artists we support, like we always tell you, and go to these events. We've talked about numerous events on this show: Black Books and Rhyme Books, Audio Dope, the Happiness of Pursuit Festival. If you really want to get into the universe, and if you're an artist that's trying to maybe break in or get the attention of some of these people throwing shows, the best way to do that is to show up.
Yep.
Just show up, support, show your face, meet people. We've lost the art of the shaking hands and introducing yourself. We've really lost that art, and it is an art. And I would say that if you're an artist and you're looking to have some longevity in this career, you're going to need to learn that art.
Very important. Yeah.
It's very, very important. I mean, you see how the people that we have on the show, how they operate. They're very much people. Like they like to vibe, and it's always about the vibe.
Yes.
Zenaloa talked about it. Gnarly talked about it. It's about that feeling of like, a lot of people make hip hop and music and indie art for various reasons. It just so happens that the people that we cover are doing it for reasons that mean a lot to them.
Right.
It's based on love. It's based on culture. It's based on progress. And these people take these things very serious. So if you're one of those people, and maybe you haven't connected with the people that we're talking about, go to these events. Let them know. Hey, I saw you on Chris Sees the Internet. You said this. That's how I feel. And trust me, they will appreciate it. Like, that is not a common thing that happens, sadly enough. It's not a common thing that happens in our industry very much, where people just give you your flowers, or they just go like, hey, that thing you're doing, it's dope.
Right.
And we're trying to change that. Eddie and I are definitely trying to change that. It's one of the reasons we have this show. And because we don't think it's done enough. So every time we get the opportunity, we do it. And now with this show, we try to make that opportunity happen.
Yes.
To be able to give some love back to some of the people. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next Sunday now. We had the last Sunday off, which was Father's Day, but we'll be back next Sunday as well, and back on the normal schedule. I don't know if we're going to be bringing the season to a close soon. I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 more episodes, and we're going to be bringing the season to a close. We'll be off for a month. That's usually how we do it, and then we'll be back. The Heartful Truth just finished their season, so I wanted to give a big shout out and a lot of love to Melly and 7 Octobers for completing their first season.
Yes. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You did great.
They had the who's who
wow.
of thought-provoking guests. So go please check out their podcast. I'm telling you guys, if you're getting anything out of this podcast, you get them a lot out of the Heartful Truth. I mean, they really dug deep into the consciousness and the mental health side of the artist's journey. And I think that's just as important as, when we talk about like the technical sides and like the logistics, that mental health side is the other half.
Right.
So you need to have that. So shout out to the Heartful Truth for finishing their season. And then shout out to Gene Flo, who's going strong.
Woo, fire,
seems like he has no end in sight to his season.
He's a nonstop machine, man.
He's a machine right now. So if you are into all beat radio, producer centric radio, that's what his show is. That's what it reminds me of. It's a all beat radio show. And it focuses on the producers that just quite frankly don't get enough love.
Right.
They don't get enough love. We saw a space for that. And Gene Flo is running with that and becoming a really, really cool cultural pillar in the production area. So
we love him, man.
They love him.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody loves him.
The producers love him. So please watch Beat Block TV every other Monday. And then if you're into audio podcasts, make sure you check out the Parker Edison Project anywhere podcasts are found. Produced by yours truly and hosted by Parker Edison. The great Parker Edison, cultural thinker, tastemaker, journalist. He does an amazing in-depth job at finding topics, and it's all through the eyes of this hip hop artist named Parker Edison. Really, really dope. Go listen to that, and then also the podcast about people, hosted by Vita Kills, killing it. Amazing. Again,
it's fire, man.
Interviewing a host of creatives and what I like to say, big thinkers. Vita herself is a big thinker. She talks to a lot of big thinkers, a lot of great ideas on that show. I'm enjoying it immensely. I hope that you guys enjoy it as well. The podcast about people, hosted by Vita Kills. Is there anybody I'm forgetting? We got Parker. We got that podcast. Yeah, I think that's it.
Everybody. Well, if you for the beat block, if you want to send in beats,
yes,
we're going to send them to me, hiphopeddie@gmail.com. Minimum of 3 beats, 1 to 3 minutes.
There you go.
All right.
Say the email again.
hiphopeddie@gmail.com.
There you go, guys. And we'll be back here again. So the show now is premiering on Sunday. So I think one of the cool things is that we're going to do is usually the show is done before Sunday. It's edited and ready to go. So I think the plan is going to be is that it's just going to premiere earlier on Sundays now. So you'll have the whole day to watch it.
That's fire.
And it's just going to be there. So look out for that. Look out for new podcast episodes. And then we're also going through some format changes. So you're going to see some more stuff. Like we're going to be interviewing people in the field more. We're going to be live at concerts and bringing you guys that footage. And some of mine and Eddie's adventures, as well as the Q&A that we're finally going to be doing. So people already, I'm letting you know, if you want to get on this show, here's a good way to do it. Send in a question about literally anything.
We have the answer.
Eddie and I are going to help you solve that problem because we have access to the internet. So we can find the answer to your problem. Send it in about anything, or just send in a shout out, and we're going to start playing videos back from the fans and supporters as well as past artists that have been on and artists maybe you've never heard of yet, asking questions about life, culture, and everything under the internet.
Nice.
So we'll see you guys here next Sunday. Sunday, right? Sunday,
Yes,
Sunday. Always Sunday.
Always Sundays.
And this is Chris Sees the Internet. That was the Internet. And what do we do?
We'll see you next time.
No, we saw it.
Oh, I did see it too.
All right. See you guys.